And so the adventure continues. Where would we be if it wasn't for deciding what outfit to wear to the beach, to a riverside camp party? But there should be tanks involved somewhere. But that's what the main show is for. Want to have a little bit more daily life in the OVAs. I hope it continues. Do you want to see more? Even in the OVAs, we can't get away from her falling over. And since we've had the majestic scenes of the other OVAs, are they going to follow a continuous storyline all the way through? And I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing a bit more of the other teams that didn't get a lot of time to shine, like the Mechanic Club or the ones who met playing the online game, or the History Girls. I still think the massive ship was kind of a cool reveal. School ship, that's what they're called. Kind of makes sense. Just you can tell characters based on the different efforts being put into their lunch. A very good question. One that needs further analysis. Easier transportation of all of the tanks as well. On land? That seems unlikely. I think I can think of several better ways of doing it than creating giant floating barges with entire towns built on them. When she gets worked up about a topic, she loses all sense of personal space. Yep. We got rid of a lot of our steel industry, unfortunately. So I don't think we'd be quite in the same place to create these kind of giant ships. A strange way of putting that sentence. I want to see these Academy ships on Viking longboats. Of course they did. So, obviously, because of all the tanks and whatnot, their history had to somewhat kind of follow ours. how long will it take to explore the entire thing? It is completely massive. Has anyone actually explored the entirety of their own city? I mean, unless you live in a hamlet. Climbing. They're getting some physical exercise in now. Yep. There's some that might disagree with you, though. Kind of surprised she agreed to lead the charge there. So you don't congest the hallways. It makes a lot of sense, and obviously I think I should do that, but that's kind of a necessary complication. I know that they spend a lot of their time above ground, but you'd think there'd be at least some sort of orientation day where they tell you all of that. Does she have vertigo? Just don't look down. She has her priority of fears, correct? You have to have certain people around to actually keep the society running while everyone's in school. So it seems like it's very regimented and structured education. Quite a few different specialities that you have to go into. And she didn't run for the hills. She's still got a mountain of knowledge. Of course, they've got to have personal quarters. I was about to say, there does seem to be a lot of room for the amount of people on board. You think they could afford to make the hallways a little wider? It makes sense of a ship that large. Really using as many potential outputs as possible. There have been a few tests that I've heard of trying to use roads as a way of creating, well, energy. Can you transfer from the various studies? So, so there's probably loads of people not aware of all of this going on and the different types of people here not living underneath the sun. Oh, so it's like modularly put together. And they've probably got a warehouse for replacement parts whenever there's some like structural damage. Yeah, even at that scale. So going actually into a lot of detail with this ship. I was about to say, is there not only washing facilities but a public bath? Yeah, go to a different one. I'm sure if you asked nicely, they'd let her in. Although that looks kind of better than the other one. She's really taking in the view, isn't she? Are you sure about that? I think most schools are kind of have the same kind of structure, but they have their different ways of dealing with things, much like just various nations. English education is very different to American. I guess with the expansive ocean, maybe, but you can see the sun in other places. But that was a nice information dump. You get to see the other parts of the ship and how it all runs, and if their one school shut down, there's a lot more going on board. So it kind of pumps out a lot of people specialised in a certain area, with not really a lot of crossover. Everyone seems happy with where they are, though. Do they have some sort of like standardised test that decides which schooling you'd be put into? I think I'd prefer living a normal life on. I think I'd prefer a normal life living above ground, under the sun and rain and various elements. But if you were part of the ship, part of the crew, I don't think I'd actually miss the outside all too much. Recent years, due to ongoing global events, have kind of shown me that. I had to look at how long this this OVA was before I put it on, and I kind of hoped they'd skip over the intro, but I guess about half of it was going to be taken up now. Now, I don't really like skipping over the songs or whatnot, but when there's so short on time, and the last OVA really built up a bit more of the ship, more of the world building. I'm not sure what they're going to try to achieve in less than 3 minutes. And the amount I've learned about tanks just because of this show leading on to other things, it's actually kind of surprising. Anglerfish. So we're not going into the origin of their logo and whatnot. We're getting the dance, are we? There's only one of them there that doesn't seem quite so happy to be part of it. If you wanted a localized, standalone version of this dance, this OVA provides. The good thing of it being, hand-drawn animation is that everyone is going to be exactly in time. And we're actually getting each of the different crews. You'd think that those three would be slightly more against it. Even though they're all wearing the same outfit, you can actually tell who's who at that distance. Which kind of goes to show the designs work, although 3 of them are kind of similar. I guess. Oh, great, that's going to be seared into my head for the rest of the day. Oh, I'm not going to get any work done. I didn't know I needed it, and I'm still not entirely sure I did. I don't believe these 2 OVAs could be more different. One was short and sweet with a lot of dancing and... Who made these outfits? And the other actually went into quite a bit of detail of the different goings-on in the ship, how it's run, potentially some pitfalls of the design. And is there a schematic available so someone could remake it from scratch? And if there is, someone's definitely tried making something, at least in a scaled down form. I'm not sure 1/1000th is quite doable. But if you are hungry for more, you're in luck because there's a couple more OVAs, and then one that everyone is continuously requesting, and movies. And if somehow this OVA, which I doubt because I don't think that many people will watch it, gets stupid good reception, I'm still not doing the dance. I might do the dance. That's a dangerous thing to even contemplate. But whether you're slightly aloof and sleepy, or far too excitable and up in my face, I hope to see you again. So if you enjoyed, let me know down below. Potentially subscribe to the channel to see more. Get some rest though. At least it's not in a bunk bed. See you in the next one. My patrons are the skin-tight pink costume to the embarrassing dance that is my channel. And if you would like to keep me horribly mortified, consider joining onto my Patreon as well. But in the meantime, I need to thank Sal, Raywin, Electricand, Arthea, Noku, Shiwan, Mecha, Jennifer Rojas, Stinsfire, Big Boy, Mats, Russell Paulson, Girly, Dynamite 1997, ASD, Dunk Show 7899, and everyone else. Because without them, I'd be dancing alone, and that's just a little bit weird.